Good morning. As we've just covered with Miss Jackie in the first half of our lesson, all of the knowledge that you've gained from international awareness about the age of criminal responsibility is important. And realistically, we have rights and responsibilities as citizens around the world, but our governments have rights and responsibilities to the citizens in order to protect them and uphold their safety. So for you or I, we have to really consider, are our rights being enacted in a way that's appropriate, or do we sometimes have to demand change? So the focus of today's lesson is using the knowledge that you remember from last lesson and that you've just recapped with Miss Jackie. How can we make that into action? How can we make that into an affirmative stance? And how can we try and achieve change if there's an issue within our society? So looking up at the board, or if you're working at home, looking at the screen. Just let me share my computer with you. There we go. So we know that for us here at our school, we value being able to make change in the world. And the biggest way that we can make change in the world is to have some principles. So principles come about from many, many things, but for us, we're going to apply our principles today because we've done some thinking about things. And I've been really impressed with how you're working so far. And what we're going to do today is start to work towards how could we make change. So most of the time, we know so far with our studies in commerce that there are legal responses to things, and there are other ways to respond to things too. So we will come towards some of these legal responses later on in our studies. And if you choose to go on to legal studies too, next year, you will see that this left-hand side, the legal methods in particular, is really profound in being able to help us get solutions through legal channels. But today, we're in commerce. We're going to start at one of the earlier options. And one of the easiest ways that we can get change is, of course, through the media, through, social media and writing posts or a current affair and whatnot. And we covered that in last topic. Remember when we did finance, consumer finance, we looked at how current affair can be a solution for many disgruntled customers. So we've covered the media before, but today we're going to focus on our next area and solution alternative, going through the non-legal channel, which is a member of parliament. So members of parliament are elected representatives of local groups of people, and members of parliament are meant to voice for us and vote in parliament for the interests of those that they look after. And the fancy word for that, which you can all add into your terminology, is the word constituents. Anyone know what constituents means? Oh yes, good. Lovely. Let's write down little Johnny's definition. Yep. So constituents are important, and constituents can demand change. So thinking of our school, ABCD High School, is there anyone who can kind of think that they remember a member of parliament maybe coming to our graduation days, a member of parliament that might have gone to their primary school and planted a tree or something like that? What's that, little Susan? Yes. Joe Bloggs, he's a great MP for our area. What do people like about what he's done? Oh, okay. Yep. So little Jessica has just said that that our MP Joe Bloggs is really good, and he made a refugee community centre. Yeah, that's a good one. Really good examples. What else have they done? They opened a new playground. Well done. And what else? They're trying to improve the hospital. Yes, perfect. So these are all really good things that MPs are meant to do. And sometimes they're really great. Sometimes though, MPs forget issues, and particularly important for MPs is being held accountable in case they forget people of key need. So we know from geography, thinking back to when you did geography last year, and maybe the topic that you've started in Year 9 geography so far this year, we know that there can be people at risk. Anyone want to guess who those people at risk are? What's that, Michael? Yes, lovely. People at risk, such as minority groups, lovely. So we know that could be refugee people, people with a disability, people who don't speak English, sexual diversity, etc. Lovely. So it's really important that these groups and any group that feels like an MP isn't looking after them properly holds the MP accountable. So what should an MP do all day? Let's have a look at this video here and we can see what they do all day. Lovely. So we can see that technically they're meant to do a lot. Yeah. After watching that video, MPs are meant to be really, really profound in making change for us, but sometimes they don't. So what we're doing today is we're thinking about what we learnt last lesson, the age of criminal responsibility, and we're going to write a persuasive response. Okay, so persuasive responses are, and let's just work on our literacy. We're all going to read a sentence each. So looking at this text in front, what is a persuasive response? We're all going to read a sentence each. We do it all the time, guys. You know what to do. Okay, sentence each. When it's a full stop, you finish your sentence and the next person goes in. Quick, quick, quick pace. Okay, off you go, Johnny. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 so on and so forth. Lovely. Good, good, good reading, guys. Well done. So we know that persuasive responses need some key texts in there to be able to persuade and change. So for you, what you're doing today is you're looking at an example I've given you, then you're going to do a plan, and then you'll write your letter. And this is all really important because as you work your way through the content, sometimes it could be a letter that misses out key arguments because you haven't planned it appropriately. So let's look at our example here. So this one is an environmental issue, and I've just picked something completely unrelated so you don't get confused, but looking at caged eggs and whether or not caged eggs are ideal for use. So this writer has created 3 separate arguments, and within each argument, they've created sub-arguments. So for you, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to think of 3 reasons that you think your MP should change the age of criminal responsibility, or why they should keep the age of criminal responsibility the same. It's up to you to pick what you want to persuade, your argument, your voice. So you're making 3 arguments and you're making sub-arguments that go into that, and you'll of course do a conclusion at the end. So for you, I'd like you to pick one of the 3 plans. So having a look there, and if you're working from home, you can click on the link and you can start to edit it at home, but you're clicking on those 3 plans. So do you want to do it literally, okay, going through method and flow? Do you want to do it visually, or do you want to just get into it and do it logically? So it's up to you what channel you choose. So any questions? Good. Okay, good. So let's get started. So in this first 5 minutes, I want you to finish your plan. By the time this music is up, the plan should be done. Good working, guys. Everyone did that 5 minutes of planning really, really well. Well done. Okay, can we all just stand up? Can we stretch for a bit? Lovely, lovely, good. Okay, now we're up to our final draft, and I'm so impressed with your focus. You are doing some really good critical thinking. When I was walking around during your planning time, I loved some of the arguments that you were writing, and I could see that you were breaking down those arguments into sub-arguments, which was great. All right, are we ready to start our final version? Okay, so I'm going to press play on this next video. By the time this next video finishes, you should have your letter written in full, ready to share when we're done. Okay? Well done, everyone. I'm really impressed with how hard you've worked in writing your plan and then creating your final version. Well done.